He is supposed to be, but I don't know yet.
Okay. You okay with starting? We called a Brantley County Recreation Department Advisory Board meeting in order. It's February the 10th, 2026. Meeting started a little about 5:35-ish. So at this time, we're going to ask Mr. Ed if he will say the prayer, and then we'll ask Ms. Melissa if she'll do the pledge.
Dear Father, thank you for this together. So we ask you just to be with us here tonight. Just let whatever happens take place and be according to your will, then Father, what's best for Brantley County. We just ask that you just continue to be with each and every one of us here and our families. And then most importantly, dear Father, we just ask that there's one that's not saved, they come and know you before it's everlasting too late. We just ask all these many things in the holy name I pray.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just want to make a note that Mr. Howe sent me a text, and he had some medical procedure today, so he will not be here. I'm here. Ed? Here?
Yes, sir.
Michael?
Maybe.
Here?
I'm here.
All right, we're going to start with, I'm just going to kind of give some updates from where we stand from the last meeting, and then we'll probably talk about it a little bit later on. The pickleball courts are up, lights have been moved. We do have people playing on them. We have not officially had the ribbon cutting ceremony, but people are playing on them. We do have lights on, so everything should be good to go.
Do you have a date for the ribbon cutting?
I'm just guessing next week, but I have not heard a date. He's wanting to make sure if anybody wants lessons, that he could give them some lessons. That's Mr.
What,
Joey.
during that time?
During that time.
Okay.
So he asked me yesterday to go ahead and get a list if anybody wants some, and I'll get it to him. So we ready. I mean, I got people asking. I got church people asking. So we need
He
to
says
get things
Mr. Joey means Mr. Cason. No, I'm not giving lessons.
No, we need to charge attendance and you give lessons.
That will be a show.
So hopefully, we'll get that rolling, because like I said, we are having some comments on Facebook, and they're good comments. I think a lot of people don't know. So anybody that you meet, whether they play pickleball or not, invite them out, see what we can get going. Like I said, I know some churches are wanting to do some stuff. So, and I'll get in a little bit later about the lakes, but they are still moving forward on that. They went from the pre-application to the application. So, and I'll get into that a little bit later. So, Joey, you got anything good?
Yep. First thing I got is a little surprise here. Mr. Jackson there has been waiting for a long time for his trophy.
That turned out pretty good.
And here it is.
I think that's a little bigger than what I thought.
I know it is.
Hey, it's still bigger than all the ones you didn't get.
Yes, sir. You will able to stand from the live stream there with it.
Buddy, state your whole name.
Jackson Wisnick.
How you spell that last name?
WHISENANT. Yeah, that turned out good.
That is pretty. We'll give a shout out.
Glad to
Joey.
finally get it to you, man.
Who done the work?
John Lee.
John.
Supposed to
Hickox,
say that,
Georgia.
but
What was that? Buffalo Creek, Texas.
you got trouble from doing that.
How much did he weigh?
Appreciate that advertising.
Sorry.
How much did he weigh? Did you
He
weigh
says
that?
12, but
You call it
10
like-
ounces. 12 ounces. I think it was,
Was, I think it was
1.16, something like
something like that.
I thought them scales said 6 ounces.
that. Yours did. Oh, wait, you had to put one on.
They didn't have a scale big enough.
That's nice. That's good. That's good.
Um,
What you got?
I'll skip a little bit since we're already on that subject. We're already starting to plan for the next one for this spring. Should have another load of golden shiners coming soon. To get them in the mood to bite. So we'll be planning that soon. DNR is going to come actually get with us. We're going to shop the pond and tag a few fish, and that's how we're going to try to do the prizes for this next one. You catch a tag fish, there'll be a certain prize linked to that tag.
Yeah, let me know how Bertha's doing.
Yeah. I ain't
You
seen him
you
in a
know
while.
when about they're coming?
I don't, but I can call you when they do.
Yeah, if it wouldn't be too much, I'd like
Yeah.
to see it done.
Yep, I want to be here.
I want to see what comes up.
I want to
You've already seen one of them once.
But for the shocking, I want to ride on the boat with it. I want to help tag.
And then if you can keep me in mind when y'all start planning, you get a date, because I would like to see, I know a couple companies, see if we can get some lures and stuff like that,
Okay.
that you can do as door prizes for participants that come.
That'd be great. So back to basketball season. We ended our season. Everything seemed pretty good. We had our 6U basketball tournament. That went great. Everybody enjoyed it. We had a 3-point shootout. Had probably about 25 kids sign up for it at the end. Had our Heron Ballers. Had their last game. It's always fun. Heading into districts, we've got 10U boys, 10U girls, and 12U boys hosted here in Brantley. Our 8U girls and 12U girls will all be in Alma. 8U boys and 14U boys will be in Pierce. I want to come out and watch all that. Come join us. Baseball and softball signups are getting close to the end. I think we still got a couple of weeks left. If y'all want to know the numbers, they're up there on the board right there. Is
that kind of trending the same as it did last year? No numbers about the same, or y'all look?
It's
go up
always
or
hard
down?
to tell right now. The late week of signups
They
is
always
when the
get-
most people come
yeah.
in. So they usually jump by then. That's a little low for right now, but everybody's still focused on basketball
That's
too.
right, and you're expecting it to peak. Yeah.
Seems like the last week and the late signups, they just pile in.
Yep.
So,
And then we have Brantley County Middle School soccer is playing here on their home games. So their first game will be tomorrow here. That's pretty much it for sports report.
just kind of a side note, D-Ray won the 6U, correct?
Yep. D-Ray's team won the 6U tournament.
And we're having issues. We may have to move some of our district play. We're not sure yet. Tuesday will tell the day. Joey has actually talked to, you talked to Atkinson, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to the high school, and we're just waiting back on some yes or no.
Possible relocations for
Possible
districts.
relocation. They've having some issues. So for about the last week, we actually had to move to 6U to Hoboken, and just some of the issues they having. So hopefully that'll be cleaned up by Tuesday, and we'll be able to rock and roll. So, but we prepared for it anyway, just in case. I got the. Is that all, Joey?
I think that will. You can go ahead and mention the letters here.
You can.
We got a couple of letters. I think everybody's got a copy of them. Coach Worley, you want to read yours or?
Excuse me.
Tom?
I didn't send one. I just showed it to speak.
My bad. You want to go ahead and speak? Or?
Can you state your name and?
So my name is Tommy Steele. I was a coach for 8U football this past season. And a lot of the coaches that have coached past and present, we kind of just small talk, and kind of just talk amongst ourselves, and, you know, it's kind of feel like it needed to be brought to discussion to the board. And not just football, but soccer as well. We feel like that it would be very beneficial to our kids, whether it's they're playing football, soccer, or, I mean, really any sport that practices out here in this field, if we had more adequate light. There's times that we practice, especially when time changes, we're getting prepared for district tournaments, that it's getting dark by 6 o'clock, and you know, we're starting practice at dark. And by the time we all get there, you know, we were fortunate enough to be able to practice out here on the baseball fields this past year, but you know, I just feel like it would be very beneficial if we were able to get more adequate lighting on that field where we can all practice together. And you know, not only that, it would open up an optional football field whenever we're having Saturday tournaments or whatever. You know, we'd have two fields to play. So that's my take on it. And like I said, I've talked to several others, and they feel the same way. And we just feel like it would be beneficial for safety factors and you know, other reasons. Because when it gets dark out there, there's holes in that field. You know, it wouldn't be nothing for one of the kids to be out there running and, you know, falling in a hole, twist an ankle, or, you know, such. So that's kind of what we got.
Just kind of give you an update on that. We had talked about some of that last year on that. When we put the lights down the road, REA done that. So I reached out to them today about lights on the field, and at the present moment, they don't handle those kind of lights. They kind of done a special order for us on the lights down the road. That being said, I tried to find Jennifer from Georgia Power. Now I know this is REA. They helped us in Slaughterville with the pickleball, tennis lights, and the basketball lights. You know, is there something that she possibly could do? And I ain't saying Georgia Power. I'm just saying as far as lights, because you being a football coach, the ones they put at Tiger Field in Blackshear, $200,000. But now that's top-notch lights, you know, on a playing field. So the lights would be a little bit different. So that's kind of where I stand with that. I can talk with Mr. Joey and see, you know, if there's anything we can do, you know, to have enough lighting that y'all can practice, and see where that goes from there. So
Where's the practice field at in conjunction with this nature track thing that y'all?
right across the road.
You gonna have some kind of lights and on that, lighting on that track?
Hopefully, eventually.
Is it gonna be highlights or low lights or like?
I hadn't really discussed that yet.
Alright.
The lights that go down the road and cuts out in the parking lot, we can actually physically turn them off in case Joey and them's doing something with the haunted forest that would black out that whole end down there. Matter of fact, I can cut these lights off too, but all of it's dusted on right now. We got them on. The pickleball lights are separate. They'll come on when you turn the switch. But right now, that's kind of where we stand with the lights. But if you're looking at the pond, right behind you is the practice field.
Well, I mean, I agree. There needs to be lights down there, because the thing here can tell you, this day and time ain't like it used to be when we grew up. You better have the area lit, because young women, ladies come out here and walk on that trail at dark. And then you got kids that's playing ball that, you know, they step in one hole, and that could be an injury that takes them out. They can't play anymore. So I don't know, but definitely check on that and make sure, because that end part needs to be well lit, because when you come out here at night, that end's dark. So that end needs to be probably lit up good. I mean, and maybe a few surveillance cameras put down around that area down there and something, because there ain't no protection. Are there cameras down there now? Maybe something that.
But when you come through this way, just smile.
That's right. But you get down yonder though,
No. And I'm sure, and I hope we don't have vandalism, but you know, it seems like it follows us from park to park. So yeah, we need
Well,
And
and
I'm-
one thing we need to look at too is field layout, utilizing that space, like how many fields are we gonna be able to put in out there, because that's gonna determine the lighting
for
around
that-
and where they need to go.
I
Yeah,
was gonna say for that, practice field, I would prefer we go ahead and put Musco lights in just because it adds another playing field.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
that's
something
another-
that you can cross over, yeah.
It would be another soccer and football field.
Mhm,
It's already got sprinklers on it, so.
Mhm.
mhm.
Cause most of your nature trails you go down, they ain't got stadium lights out there.
Yeah.
They only about 6, 7 foot tall, just lights up, you know, you pay. That's why I
Or
was
the one at
asking.
your feet,
But-
lighting up, you know.
Right, just to keep it where you'll step on a snake
Yeah.
or.
But we know
Right.
there's a need for the lighting, and then if there's a need for additional playing surfaces out there too, we need to look at that as a whole project. And, you know, we could probably start, do it in in phases to build it out,
Mhm.
but know where you wanna be, you know, where we wanna be in the next 5 years with additional playing surfaces there.
That'd be great.
I promise I wouldn't hold.
So
Now,
we couldn't help it.
I know also another, cause I know the cost of lights, one other thing we can look at too is reaching out through GRPA and finding out if there's any facilities that are upgrading their systems and getting rid of, their current lighting. Cause a lot of times you can get that at a much discounted rate.
And I just asked Michael Brooks that same question, because he used to work in Ware County. Okay, I know Pierce, but I don't know what they done with their lights.
Right.
Like I said, at that Tiger Field that y'all normally play at, they did put new lightings there. And
Yeah.
when I was there, and you probably seen them too, they was laying down by the
Yeah,
field.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah.
just recently finished that project.
Yeah.
Last year.
Mhm,
Well, they're starting to make the type that we have, the bulbs for them, obsolete.
mhm.
So
that's-
eventually, we're gonna have to upgrade ourselves,
mhm.
to LED.
Last time I checked, it was like $250 a bulb.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And there's people that saved them, like
Yeah.
Amp Electric, that saved them from a different project, and he's just kind of kept a couple back.
Yeah.
In case, you know, we need one or something
Right.
like that, so. It'll be expensive, but, you know, it's like anything else, you can only, you know, use them for so long, and then you gotta do something.
Yep.
All right, we got public participation. Anybody wanna speak or anything gotta say?
But thank you for bringing that to the
Mhm.
board to look at.
And, Wyatt was in here earlier this morning.
Well, Wyatt called me
Okay.
earlier. We've been talking all day back and forth. You know, me and him both are gonna be planning on being here for the fall season, you know, trying to, you know, coach at some kind of capacity. And like I said, we wanna see this program build. We wanna be able to, you know, pour into these kids, you know, and whether we're having late summer practices, you know, or, you know, we were actually wanting to do, some workouts. And me and Wyatt had both talked about trying to put on a program starting probably the first, second week of June and work through the summer, 2 or 3 days a week, you know, just kind of keep the kids freshened up. And if it's 100 degrees at 6 o'clock out there, we can push practice back to 8 o'clock, you know, and work from 8 to 9 o'clock, you know, or whatever, you know, to kind of get a cooler point of the day if we had lights. I just feel like that would be really beneficial to the program as a whole.
And I was hoping last year that Coach Shores would come, and for that simple reason, the practices, it was so hot, you know, he was either doing his early in the morning, and schedule just didn't work out, you know. But he's gone now. I'm not sure if you heard that.
Yeah.
So we'll be looking for a new football coach for our high school. So hopefully, if he gets here in time, you know, maybe we can. I think Joey and them kind of lined something up last year. Didn't work out, but you know, there's always this year. So. Anybody else got? anything
Yeah,
to
I
say?
got, it looks like someone put me down for the fundraising. I just need to get with Joey, but I know that we've all been busy because of basketball season, so I've just been kind of waiting it out. I do have a list of ideas going on. It's just getting with you as far as a good day and kind of walking to see how we could map it out. So I just figured we would wait a little bit.
Yeah.
Caught me off in basketball.
Yeah, next week or so, I probably got a little bit of time
Okay,
before district starts.
perfect.
You wanna come by?
Sounds
That'd be
good.
great.
We'll move to new business. One thing I forgot to put down, senior picnic day's coming. I've met with one or two parents and we'll still be meeting throughout, the school year. So that's gonna come. It sounds like, we're gonna try to have it every year and we're gonna try to host it here every year. I know they was doing it before I got here, but, just they gonna come up with some ideas and we're gonna see what we can do. We're gonna try to beat it up and see what we can do and hopefully have, the best senior picnic day that we can have this year. Also, I'm in talks with, Atkinson, Fire. They're talking about wanting to try to do a concert. That should be sometime in July. We're still kind of beating that up. We've only met once. Talked to Mr. Joey Kaysen before I met this guy, so I just hadn't had a chance to get back with Mr. Joey with it. So that possibly could come. That'd be July 17th. About 6 to 10 is what he's shooting for. I think he's gonna have a local singer. Last name is Lane. I'm not sure if it's Austin. And he said one more, I believe, but he didn't really give you a name on that one. So just something to be looking forward to. I know Joey has kind of talked on the bass tournament. You got anything else you need to discuss on the bass tournament for?
No.
So hopefully we can get some tournaments. Maybe you'll win again.
Maybe
So
it'll
we'll see.
bring some better competition next time.
Uh-oh. But it's always good to see kids. We got a catfish pond, still been feeding those. So water's low. I think it's low everywhere. Need to run some water in it. Right now we've got an issue with the well, but as soon as that gets, we can put water on it, and I'll try to raise that lake up a little bit. So either come in the spring or summer, we can have another tournament. So.
Is the DNR stocking that pond for us?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
About, seemed like it was about 500 every time, and they've done about 3 times.
Okay.
That was one that was brought 2,500 that last time they
Well, it
came.
could have been, but we need to catch a bunch out,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. We're going to overstock the pond. We need to really work on that pond.
Are y'all
as far
having to
as
feed 'em?
children
Or
coming
they
to
just-
catfish.
We feed them,
Yeah,
they-
we do, just because there's so many in there.
Catfish
they're
mostly, and this
actually
one has a
reproducing
little
in there,
part,
so
but you can find
competition's
some brim
great.
or red eyes, what I call them,
So they're
Red
all
ear.
starting to catfish one.
in the catfish pond. Now over here, it's got bass and brim and a little bit of carp
Have
in
they
that.
put any more in the bigger pond?
I have not seen any.
What's that?
Have they
Have
put
they-
anything else in the bigger pond?
He brought me a bucket of about 30 little bluegill that he had, not long ago. I'm stuck in there.
We could probably stand a little more.
It's just so
That's,
low, man. I'm telling you, it's low.
Does
I've
anybody
got it.
have the actual dimensions on that pond, like the depth and length
Yep.
and all?
Finally got it. It steps down from this side of it, heading over that way, all the way from one end to the other. It's shallow over here. When it's full, it's probably 6 to 8 foot on this end for about a third of it. Then the center is a little deeper. And then the far end over there was, I want to say it was about, 10 to 12 when
I
it's
think it was
full,
the deepest.
something like that. But it steps down as it goes across. So we put most of the structures that we put in, we kind of kept on this side. We've got 1 or 2 more we're gonna put in the deep end. The sonar on it looked like there's, in the deep side, there's a bunch of trees or branches or something, but they all just sticking straight up all the way down it.
Is there any natural vegetation?
It was on a fish finder we was looking through, so you couldn't really tell.
It makes me wonder when he says stuff sticking straight up, was that part dug out, like
Right.
old roots or something
Or
sticking
new
up.
growth or-
Mhm. Yep. Okay, on the plans for the lake, I got that in the back of your papers there. Kind of a semi layout of what they were talking about. And that's just kind of a general, and that one was in. That's just kind of a general layout, you know, when you get a grant writer at, when they get to a certain point in the grant system, they have to have like a layout of different things. But you was talking about, okay, what we're doing, we're gonna, let's see here, I got it right now. Okay, on the side of the road here, on this side of the lake, to get a walking track, we're gonna have to remove like the first row of pine trees. So we had talked about taking some of those pine trees and put them in the lake for just cover in different spots. And that's a pretty good row of pine trees. So, you know, all of them it's not going in the lake, but we're gonna try to put some cover. I know Joey and them got some cover, especially on the end down here by the feeder. Do you have any in the middle, Joey?
Mm-hmm.
Some in the middle. So he's got some scattered out with PVC, and he actually got some plastic totes down there that they have sunk. So there's going to be some structure in there, but what we're looking at doing in the grant, basically the next step, we went from pre-application to application. It's just a couple steps that you got to have, and one of them is the layout. So he just kind of generally done a layout. Hopefully we're going to put some signage up. When that time comes, we'll have a couple benches, and it's like Stead said there, some lighting probably also around the lake. So if somebody is out there kind of late, they'll have something to see. Kind of where we stand. It's just a slow process. It just takes a while.
How dense it is that it's got to be at that place? Around the pond.
Right now, it's pretty set. We've got them out here. We've taped it. We've got companies looking. Our public department's going to do groundwork on that.
And I think for part of the funding too, the reason we were utilizing the pond was because we're going after DNR grant to help with the funding to.
It's called the Coastal Center Grant, and basically it's kind of, they don't call it a walking track, they call it a partway or park.
And that's why you have
Yeah,
the
partway trail.
signage along the trail as well.
So right now that's kind of ongoing. But like I said, it's slow. Seems like everything we do for grant wise is on the slow side. Because me and Mr. Howell, which is the commissioner, rode down to Atkinson at that Strickland landing. The county put a grant in for that. And what that looks like is going to take place there is a lot of road work and possibly a floating dock. So we still kind of in the planning stage on that. The bad thing about that whole area floods. So if you do just happen to put a pavilion down there, it's gotta be pretty solid. Be nice to have, especially during the summer, but during the rainy season, you know how that goes. I mean, it gets pretty full down there. So we're still in the talking stages with that. So that's 2 grants right there that we got coming up. So.
Hey, Jeff, with this whole trail thing, what's the plan as far as the fishing is gonna go?
Fishing?
Yeah, because if it's open to everybody, you're gonna be like every other public park where it's a hole with water in it, people's trash thrown in it, and no fish to be found.
Only thing I can tell you is just take it by ear, because I'm not sure if they do that at Trembling Earth, if they let fishing out. I've never seen anybody fish out there, but then at Blythe Island, I've seen people fish out there. So
Trembling Earth was the example DNR gave me of why they won't stop.
They got turtles.
turtles.
They got turtles and little minnows, but that's it.
Well, and you know, it's like what we got at Blythe Island. You can catch them, you can keep them. They got size limits. We can, you know, we can put a no fishing permit. At one time, we charged at Blythe Island, but when the DNR kind of stepped in and started taking over, we couldn't charge anymore. So it was just a free fishing. And I have seen them stock some fish at Blythe Island, not a big number of fish. So that's just something we just gonna have to watch, because, you know, will it be feasible to fish in? Will it not? Just walk around it, have a pretty scenery? We'll see. That's all I can tell you, really.
Well, I know they're kind of input in it, so they have some say in it, but is there a way, since it's with the department, a way to regulate the hours? Who can, you know?
Well, and that was something else too, because, you know, we talked about, I'm not sure if you listened, I'm not even sure, you might have been here, open and close it. Close it at night, lock the gate, whatever we need to do. We do have a gate with a chain on it, so we can lock it. Now, not saying ain't nobody gonna come out here and fish, gonna be caught.
Well, that's what I was getting at, because
Yeah.
now I see it in a lot,
Mhm.
but
We have caught.
when you make it available and known to the public that it's open,
And that might be something, you know, we just have to police pretty heavy until we kind of get them, say, hey, you know, no fishing. Yeah, we can fish, when we can fish, when we can do this, when we can do that. So, hey, it's gonna be a process, like anything else. We just having a lot of people ask about walking tracks, and they really, Mr. Howe especially, he hears a lot of the older folks wanting to walk and different things like that. So, you know, will fishing be an issue? Maybe not. Will it? Don't know yet. But
Or there's absolutely zero alternatives to making something happen for the walking path other than this idea?
right
Because like,
now,
I mean, I look at so many things that it makes me wonder, all right, grandma and grandpa's walking, it's hot outside. What do they do when they're on this back corner over here, way away from parking lot? You know, who's out there to
well, hopefully,
assist them?
you know,
or what if they do get out there and
we're
nobody
gonna be
knows?
watching also. And like I said, I know we ain't gonna see everything. Hopefully they'll play it by ear, just like if you get, you know, if you walk in your driveway and you get tired, you might not want to go all the way to the end. You know, you might want to stop right here and turn around and come back. So it's just gonna be a process and a learning process. It's just something to add to the park, you know, to get more people involved, just like pickleball courts and things like that.
One of my main concerns would be people who are walking the trail having uninterrupted access to the waterway. You know, in the example that people are fishing, somebody's kid run by and get a hook in the eye, that's a big problem. And possibly a lawsuit and this, that, and the other. And maybe if it has to be around the pond, fence it in. That probably makes people feel safer anyways.
Right.
That would make me feel safer as a fisherman. I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
And maybe nobody's kid just happens to trot off and fall in the pond and drown.
And
if it
all
does
that's
have to
good.
be around the pond, I would suggest stretch it out. Give the pond a little more breathing room for that same reason.
And all of us good ideas. You know, it's just something we're gonna have to work with and contend with when we really start looking at this process.
Our other nature trail too has turned into a four-wheeler track. So you gotta look at that too.
I'm not against the track itself, I think that's a great idea for the public. I just don't like the fact that it's gonna be invading.
I'll use the pond that we went fishing at in Brunswick, for example. Similar deal. They have a nice pond. From a fisherman's standpoint, it's excellent. However, they have a track 8 to 10 foot behind you all the way around. People roller skating, dogs coming by, you back up and walk into somebody, you know, and the same thing here again. Every time I'm going to cast, make sure I ain't snatching nobody's youngin in the water.
Well, that could be anywhere.
Right.
In a boat,
And I
anywhere.
don't think
at
it
the
should
river.
be here.
Well, and hopefully if we get to that point, we won't do that. But I know accidents happen. So
All you can do is mitigate.
that's right. That's right. Yep.
That's all I'm saying. if it could be somewhere else on the property other than the road.
And likewise.
Well,
But being due to grant, I think, so we're.
And I've heard people talking about Slaughterville. Now I live in Hoboken. At that time they was talking to me, there was so many people using Slaughterville at night, they just didn't want to be around that kind of people. They wanted, you know, a little bit of quietness, blah, 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 instead of youngins hollering and playing basketball and stuff like that. And, you know, so they went to Hoboken. Now, is that gonna be everybody? No. But that's the one that come to me about it, or one of the ones come to me about it. So that's one reason we started looking around the lake. Just think it'd be a nice view, kind of similar to what Waycross has got at Trembling Earth. So we'll see how it all works out.
Also, one more thing, I believe that the construction moving forward with putting the trail there, are we talking about a concrete path or,
Asphalt.
okay? So,
So what it looks like the process is gonna be, they're gonna come in, supposedly the county work is gonna do the groundwork, similar to what we done to the pickleball courts, which will save us money. And then maybe put some crush and run, or either they come in and put asphalt. Maybe that's the goal, put asphalt.
and looking by the pictures, which row of pine trees were you talking about
These right here.
in the front?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be on the lake side, but it's gonna be that group of pine trees. Which would be right there if you look.
Are you talking about the ones that are right on the edge of the water or the ones that are over more?
Ones right here. Well, you can't really see the road.
Okay. So you're talking about the ones more on the outside of the,
It's on
clearing.
this side of the road. Like if you're looking at the pickleball course, just turn around and look, that section of pine trees. But the road we're talking about is next to the lake.
So is signups for that ending this week? Is that what I'm reading?
They'll end the week of, evaluations, which I think the last week of February.
Okay.
Each night as we have evaluations, whatever age groups having evaluations, there's an end that night, and the next night, the next group.
Do you think it has anything to do with y'all opting out of including the pants? I mean, you don't have anybody in 12U or 14U.
Yep.
So I was just curious, like, I know you said that that's a low number compared to previous years with the prices increasing, and then you're taking away the uniforms.
Yeah. I've heard a few complaints about it, but the ones that have said something are the ones were in here signing up when they said it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So the numbers at the end will tell.
And
Yeah,
even
yeah,
on
that's
basketball,
24,
like
yeah,
Folkestone
whether you're on
and
par
Pierce
or
County
not.
had
Yeah.
an age group that didn't have any players.
Mhm.
So it was really kind of shocking for them two groups to have it. So,
Pierce County's basketball numbers were way down this year.
yeah, I don't know what's going on. You know, they pretty stout on their sports. So,
You said basketball numbers were down this year?
For Pierce
for
County.
Pierce County.
Pierce, Charlton, and McIntosh all, and Alma, had very low numbers this year. They had age groups that didn't make it all.
And the funny thing about that, they changed the age group on that. So we actually could use some middle schoolers, scoring what age, you know? So that really was a shocker. I mean, that would just been another opportunity for middle school practice, or, you know.
Yeah. Have y'all thought about anything, to, I guess, help improve the amount of coaches that we have? I know I'm very grateful for the ones that we do have, but I know for my son, his coach, I know I saw him being a ref, I saw him coaching a couple of different age groups, and so I know that it puts a lot on them, but then it also doesn't give each player enough time throughout the season either, because I think we only practiced 2 times in December, and that was it.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not saying anything bad about it because I know how booked up they were, but was that like that across the board for everyone, or was it only certain people because they were so stretched thin?
Yeah,
I mean, have
certain
y'all-
ones, and we'll see it again with baseball, certain ones will come in and they'll just sign up for 2 or 3 ages. The past couple of, like 3 years or so, we really hadn't had to beg any coaches. Not like we used to.
Mhm.
Used to, me and Sarah spend all day on the phone begging people to call and see about that age group. It's gotten a little better. Now we do usually have to call one or two and say, hey,
Yeah.
need you coach, but I got a few coaches that expect me to call, you know.
Mhm.
It's
just
pretty easy to get
pretty-
coaches right
okay.
now,
I just didn't know if there was something that you're able to do to help,
but I know
I
as
guess,
soon as
entice people to do it.
yes. We have done where if you're coaching, you get a free sign up,
Mhm.
and then that helps some. But I got people like Mr. Ed here that I call and say, hey, I need a coach for this age group. They're pretty good about stepping up.
We'll continue on. I know this is, we've been talking about this for the last time or two, far as meeting wise. We're still looking at possible ways to do sponsorships. And I think Miss Melissa, did you have anything on that?
I presented the packet last month. You sent me some notes on that. So what I really need from you guys is just feedback if that's something that y'all want to pursue, and look at the pricing on the different sponsorship packages. I think we could do some work on that and maybe dial that in a little bit better. And if you'll get all that feedback to me, we'll get those documents updated and back to you guys.
I just happened to see Patrick Steve putting some up at the tennis court at the high school. So I called him at a basketball practice and I asked him about that. Just the little, I call them the campaign signs you get from TNT or Waycross, whatever, that has their picture or logo or what on. Okay, a brand new one was $250. A renewal was $150. And I know out here we've got signs hanging that's out of date.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
And my suggestion would be that the last thing we want at a beautiful park is sign pollution just everywhere. So we need to make sure that we have some strict guidelines that we're following. You know, what do we want it to look like, what size, before we start selling them too. You know, if we're gonna go with like the plastic campaign size or the vinyl banners with the grommets, it really depends on where you're putting them. If you're hanging them on the outfield fence, probably needs to be the vinyl with the
They'll
grommets.
be going outfield fence
Correct,
because of
yes.
the sprinklers.
Yep. So, and then, but what size? I know typically most of them are 4 foot by 6 foot or something in that range. And then part of that conversation too is, are we gonna put that as a requirement for the sponsor to provide that for us? Which is what a lot of counties do. They pay for the sponsorship and then they actually have to provide the banner. And then the banner, all we have is the labor to hang the banner up where it needs to go. But then it's making sure, one, it takes off liability on our end for graphics being messed up, you know, if you make them provide their own banner. So, but again, we talked about scoreboard sponsorship as well. And then the team sponsorships, you know, to help cover the cost of the jerseys and everything.
and I will try to talk with Patrick more about, you know, what they done, because it just looks like, and I'm just saying, if you had a business card, they give you a business card and he carries it wherever and they draw it up and put it on
Right. And most times the files are digital. They can send them over. Most people send the digital, but then what you get into with that is branding, you know, making sure you have the right Pantones and all that kind of stuff for the colors. So, you just have to set out those expectations and specifications that if you want us to print the banner for you, we need to know, one, you send us a file and it has to be a certain format of the file, depending on the print shop that you use. And then also the Pantone colors, all that kind of information. So you make sure that you represent them correctly with what we produce. So, again, you talked about kind of little campaign signs. That makes sense being around a tennis complex. And of course, out here, you want them to get, you know, the visibility. So if you hang a small sign on the field, that's not doing anything. So that's why typically on a sports field, it's 4 by 6, the vinyl with the grommet. So, but if Jeffrey and Joe, if y'all look at that, and like I said, mark it up, then I can go in and adjust that. The biggest thing is probably pricing, you know, where we want those sponsorships to be. And then one of our biggest assets, and I'm all for utilizing our best assets, of course, is the coaches. So it would be a huge undertaking for a department as small as we are to carry the burden of selling all these sponsors or trying to sell sponsorships. So my suggestion would be we build out a team of volunteers, the parent sponsors, you know, and you send them the packet and you help them distribute it. You know, all the information can flow back through the rec department, but utilizing those parents and coaches to help get the information out there to the public.
But just so
Mhm.
I understand from our last meeting, those aren't gonna essentially help the teams because it's going into the general fund. So the parents that are taking the time to go out there and try to find a sponsor, it's not necessarily gonna go to their child and their team. So
Not
that doesn't,
and
that's not gonna
sponsorship.
help them.
So sponsorship should never be quid pro quo. I should never want to sponsor and say, okay, I'm going to give you $500 and I expect $500 to come back to my team. So the department as a whole, if you look at the total budget for the department, I can tell you what's budgeted for the department and the cost and the revenue that the department makes. The revenue is extremely low considering what the budget is. So the rec department as a whole is in the red every year. So what this allows us to do, even though it's going into the general fund, it helps support the athletic programming. But then what it also allows us to do is free up funding to support the park as a whole and the department as a whole.
We just need to make sure that that's explained to the parents,
Mhm.
because if you were to hand me a sponsorship form and say, hey, we're trying to raise funds for our team, I'm gonna assume that's gonna help with having uniforms and not them being taken away and the fees going up. And instead, this is gonna go into the general fund to help support the entire rec department. So that would
Right.
need to be explained to the parents and to the coaches, because if you have one team that's gonna go out and bust their butt and try to help their team,
Right.
and then come to find out it doesn't get to them, they're gonna be upset. So that's
And
something
what do
you're
you
gonna
mean
wanna
go to
make sure
them?
you explain.
You mean like paying for their, like, so the parents wouldn't have to pay for uniforms?
No,
that they
I'm
would-
just saying
yeah.
in general, because that's what you just said. You said that we're gonna try to do sponsorship forms to help cover the cost of the uniforms. So if you hand a parent or a coach and say, hey, we're gonna do these sponsorship forms so we can help raise money for our team, they're gonna think it's for their team when it's
Right,
not.
and with that sponsorship, the company name that sponsors it will be on the jerseys, and then they'll have recognition all throughout the season. And then when Joey posts, you know, this team versus this team, it's going to be, you know, the company name versus this company name. So it's community involvement also.
But we're gonna put sponsor names on the jerseys.
Potentially, if that's a potential. That's what I said. Y'all look at the
let y'all
packet
handle that.
and mark it up. And then because we have signage, there's multiple routes that we can go. There's signage on the fields, there's signage on the scoreboards,
That's where I'd go.
team sponsorships.
Signs on the field,
Right.
logos.
And I'd be happy to sit down with you and show you what the budget is and what Joey and them pay out for uniforms a year across the board. So that's what I'm saying is if we can help bring some additional funding in, you know, I understand if you want it to go to, if you're raising baseball, it goes, and it will go to baseball across the board because it's going to help the department across the board.
Well, if it goes into the general fund, you can't necessarily say that's what it's gonna go to, correct?
Right.
Because it's going into the
It'll
general
go
fund.
the following year. We'll see a result from it.
Yes.
But you're only budgeted
But
so
I think
much a
what she's
year.
trying to say is,
Yeah.
if this team works their tail off to get sponsorships and this team doesn't, they're both getting the equal reward for it.
And they technically
And
don't
that's-
even see it
that
until the
kind of
next year,
thing.
and that's if they
Right.
come back and play, so,
Right.
Yeah. And I get that.
Mhm.
But you have to look at it, even though it's broken down, the levels are broken down by, it's broken down by athletic sports, because that's what we offer as a product, right? And it's broken down by like signage on the field because that's what we have to offer as a product to help sponsor. But ideally, the ultimate goal is to help the rec department as a whole. And when we're talking about, what are the needs, when we have groups come in and talk about the needs of our community, we want lighting, well, that money's got to come from somewhere. But if we can show that we have additional funding coming in the budget that will help cover uniforms and stuff for the next year, it then frees up additional money that we can utilize to put in lighting.
And like I said, I completely understand
Yeah.
how sponsorships work.
Yeah.
However, you're expecting parents of a specific sport
Mhm.
and volunteer coaches to go out and do the legwork to cover those expenses. So I'm
Yeah,
just saying
I get it.
that needs to be explained.
Yeah, I get it.
It's not like the school where you'll have a spike club or a
Correct.
tip-off club.
Yes,
something
or
like that
beta
where
club
you-
or things like that. Like it goes,
It
like
has
whatever
to
the
be,
beta
yeah.
club raises, like it goes to them.
Correct,
So that's
because
what
they
I'm
have
saying,
different
like, y'all
boosters.
need to make sure that's
Yeah.
explained.
Wasn't that what, the commissioner said the other day, that he was gonna have, maybe have like a chip up, like a booster club for this thing?
He did say that.
And
He was
that
talking
would
about-
be wonderful if we can get that in, because then it allows more control
Right, that's
with this.
fall back what she's talking about.
Exactly.
But we deal with that, like with FFA
Exactly.
stuff, like
Yes.
we have fundraisers, and then you have Rainier that sponsors the forestry team.
Mhm.
That don't sponsor the hog show team,
Mhm.
that sponsors the forestry
Forestry
team. And then your fundraisers go through, like we cook ribs and butts, and that supports the hog show, the
Mhm.
livestock side of it. And then we have the pheasant shoot the other day. That's that was sponsored by a lot of people, but it was also a fundraiser that we was able to put back into the FFA account. It all went to the FFA account, but so it all gets confusing. Like he said, if you got like an alumni or a booster club or
You
tip-off
can
club,
control that more. Yep.
you can split it up and
Mhm.
make it.
Well, that's why Hal said that it was a good idea for the Exchange Club to host a fundraiser to where we can give
Control the
back
money.
to the
Yeah.
rec, because they took away the medals, remember? Our last
Right. Well, maybe I don't know this. I mean, I'm by far not the smartest guy in here.
No, you're fine. I was
But
saying the last time we
I
spoke.
I think what needs to happen is if he's in agreement with that, and everybody is, this lady's been here every time I've been here, and she's been talkative. So if she's
President.
wanting to head up a thing,
Yeah.
let her and see what they say and see if we get it started. But let her have because just like she talks to a lot of parents, like I used to when I coached. I talked to a lot of different parents and a lot of hymns that was wanting to, and I was wanting to help as much as I could and this right here. But there's times you can't. I ain't gonna say a lot about it. You can't do it, and then ones you can fix, people look at you. No, if they see you trying, if they see you trying to get out there and make it right for them, hey, I promise you, they might mother up a little bit, but it ain't a full-fledged tail beating when you get bashed on Facebook like people like to do and that kind of stuff. But if we're gonna do that, I'm in agreement. Look, guys, I'm a mechanic. I had to drive bus a lot. And I coached rec ball for years, a long time. All right. And some of these kids ain't even got no daggum shoes put on their feet. They ain't got no gloves. And I ain't knocking on this, and I wish that daggum computer the thing wasn't on. But I gave a bunch of gloves out, cleats out. That my kids wear them and we give them whatever. I'm not looking for no glory for that at all. But what I'm saying is we got most of the kids that play in this organization are looking for mamas and daddies. They look for somebody that love them. And if we got coaches, you don't have to beg them. He was talking about a while ago. You got coaches out here that coach every kid they have, and that puts them in a bind, like she was talking about. Spending enough time on this day coaching this age group, because I'm signed up to coach my other child too. Get over here. It took me a long time because I thought I was the greatest coach in the world. All right. It took me a long time to realize my child benefited more when I let somebody else coach it. Take your time, spin your wheels, let your stuff work. But if we sit here and we keep on talking about giving uniforms and stuff like that, look, you can't function without money. That's the truth. So I think to be smart, if he agreed to it, to check into it. And my name's Ed, but I give her a perfect candidate spot to take that job
We'll take a vote. I'll vote.
because she is very,
Oh, yeah.
knows what she's got and what she's got going on. And in turn, we back her up. Like if she gets that and let her,
Mhm.
I ain't saying her solely responsible for money, but let everybody, but if she goes out and does all the footwork for it and all, but it's for, just know that when you do the fundraising part or the thing, it's for everybody. It ain't just
yeah.
for the whole, you can't say, well, it's 12U baseball, or it's 14U. No, it's for the whole rec thing. It still be for the rec department, but it don't feel like you're wasting your time knowing that money might be going here and you might not get to spend that money or see that money return to a good cause.
Correct.
So I think that I'll say it again if I need to.
Well, I think that's the best way to go about it because it's just like the FFA. You know, yeah, it's school funded to an extent, but then if you want to have a little bit more, you create your club and you get out and do some legwork and you get your sponsorships or whatever, whether you go on a trip and it pays for meals or hotel rooms or whatever. You know, if you look at the school, every sport has a club or sponsor. So, you know, I think that's probably to me, and like Mr. Howell was talking about, probably we need to check on having something like that for the.
And this guy, he knows a lot about the fishing stuff. You know, there you go. You got sports related, fish related. They can combine together because we say alumni. Let's say that, whatever. Yeah, they in it. They do it. They see what's got to go on.
Mhm.
They can go out and check, and even check behind Joey and Jeffrey. I mean, check behind them. Everybody ain't perfect. You might check behind. You might see something.
Yeah.
More eyes on the job. But I also welded a long time in my life too. More eyes on the job sees a crack. You might 2 or 3 might walk past it, but you got 7 or 8 there. They're gonna see that crack. Hey, we need to weld that up before we leave. It ain't overlooked because you got more eyes, more hands on the job.
And I'd also heard that if you use kids like sponsorships and things like that, instead of me and you going out there, hey, get a kid, you know, let him go up there, which I know a lot of kids are, you know, kind of shy, but they said it seemed to help getting sponsorships if you let your child be some of the legwork, you know, and not all the parents.
Well, life experience too. We got in the FFA, we got our hog show coming up February, our county show. We have to get sponsors for that and all that. So we're still in the process of that. But I can say, not every kid does it and it goes out, but I don't know if you're allowed to call names or not or anything, but like Kirsten Smith, she will go to people around this county to try to talk them into coming to be it on her pig and talk to them. And I can go there too. I'm not her dad, it's their dad. Her daddy can go there, but Kirsten being involved, that shows more, okay, look, let's go do this.
Yeah.
So if she was to take, I don't know what age your kids are, but if you was to take the whole 14U team to Piggly Wiggly and say, hey, you know, they might get more out of that than the few. So it's all about, if team wants to do it, and I know it's not fair, please. And it's not fair because in the FFA stuff, we got parents and we got kids that do way more work than other kids do, but they still benefit from that same thing. At the end of the day, the goals met, everybody's happy, we show them pigs, we roll on with it.
Yeah, that's right.
But just know that when you do it in a fundraiser, and you got 12 kids on the team, because I'm one of that parent, and you sell fundraising tickets, I probably ain't gonna sell my tickets. I just gonna forget. So the other 11's gonna pick up and we're gonna run whatever my that is. And I don't have time and forget about all that kind of stuff. And if my kids don't do it, then it's gonna get done. Like as far as that. Now everything else, Daddy does it. But that part there, I'm not real good at fundraising, and I'm good at talking, but I ain't good at fundraising. So, but I promised you I wouldn't talk to you.
So think about it.
I've already been, I already got notes and everything. I just need to get with Joey as far as dates and as far as how, because I know we ran cross country here, what, once or twice this last season?
Twice.
I think maybe once.
Mhm.
So I mean, I know it's possible, but the route, we would have to figure things out like that, and like I said, a good date. I've been meaning to look at the calendar, because I know Sarah said the calendar is booked up to what y'all got, so we'll just try to get together this week or next week and plan it out.
That'll work. Anybody else? We good? We adjourn this meeting. I thank everybody for coming. Good seeing you. I don't ever get to see you. Stop by and we'll stop.
I need to.
Slide right here.
I know I had to get for you. Okay, that's what I thought. So the big one right now is not open to the public right now either, is it? Okay.
It's good to meet you.
Yes.
I talk too much, but I don't never talk about something if I don't know about it.
Yes.
I'm
I
silent.
got you.
If I know about it,
What did you catch?
you know, what I want to do.
What do you catch out of?